Guys. Okay. So it's not really morning. It's not morning anymore, but I'm having issues getting myself pulled together first thing in the morning. I've had to take some ibuprofen at night because I'm starting to have problems with my hand, like right in here, up into my thumb, and kind of up here. It feels like right in here, it feels like it's probably carpal tunnel. So I'm gonna look up in my book of Lost Book of Herbal Remedies and see if I can come up with a regimen that'll actually help heal that. Because I know it's possible. I just have to figure out what to use, and I might actually have to send away for the herbs, like through Amazon or whatever, to help heal that. Make what I need to. Probably have to buy some alcohol and maybe make a tincture or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. When I do, and when I get what I need, I will do a video showing me actually making that remedy, and I'll also show you guys the finished product and, explain how to use it and how it works. So, okay. Today is the last day of this particular series for informational videos. It is on mentors and partners. And I'm also, after today, I'm going to be working on the beginning of my Pinterest series. From my homesteading pins, things that I've learned, information that I'm gathering, and I'm just going to share it with you guys because I know that not everybody uses Pinterest. And hey, though a lot of you guys who would just rather pull up a video on YouTube and just listen to it, or write it down or whatever, it's a little bit easier. So today's is on mentors and partners, and we're just gonna get right into it. I'm sorry, I'm really tired. I'm only tired because of having to take the ibuprofen last night, and I'm just kind of sluggish. And the only reason is because I don't take it that much. So when I do, it kind of, why I need to find a good herbal remedy to use that'll help heal that, so I don't have to worry about it. Okay. So urban and suburban homesteaders often feel as if they're going it alone. And I've actually felt that way myself. I've had a lot of instances where I felt like I was completely alone in my homesteading endeavors and just didn't feel like anybody was really with me that much on it. But I know that's not true now. And I have a few other people that I've connected with, and we've connected with some other people down here that are actually into the same thing, that have the same mindset, that are working to build up a homestead. The couple that's willing to help us get to our property the next time we go out there, they actually just moved here like about 2.5 weeks ago onto their property. So, and they have the same mindset. Self-sufficiency. Being able to raise and grow all their own food. So, and I want to get with them and, find out everything that they're doing and just, make some homesteading friends and have those connections. And then, of course, there's Andrew, And he already stays on his property, and he already has chickens and goats, and he's already working to try to build up that homestead. And I might talk to him about income, because he's having the same problem I am. Not enough hours at work, so. Okay. If you were the only house or apartment on your block, growing its own groceries, collecting rainwater, or raising chickens, it would be very easy to feel that way. But remember, you are never alone. More and more city folks are embarking on a self-reliance lifestyle. Hundreds of otherwise trashed city lots have been turned into lush organic community gardens. If no one in your immediate vicinity has discovered the value of living a simpler life centered around conserving natural resources and self-reliance, that makes you a trailblazer. The number of teachable moments you'll eventually have are too numerous to count. Still, life as a trailblazer might feel lonely at times, and all newbie homesteaders could benefit greatly from having a mentor. Hands-on learning is the best way to develop the skills you need to run a successful homestead. And that is so true. Sorry, I was checking something. That is so true. I had the knowledge that I had learned from Pinterest, from writing out pins on raising chickens, and a few of the books that I had gotten. But I'd still never had them myself. I'd never had to take care of them. I'd never raised them. So I took the leap. And I bought 10 chicks. And you guys can go back and watch those videos and see how well that went. Those chickens, I never had a problem with any of those 10. They turned out great. The 4 Leghorns, the 4 Asian Blacks, and the 2 Dominiques, they were great. They turned out awesome. And all of them were hens, and all of them laid a ton of eggs. Sorry. Help. Get a string. Anyway. But yeah, all 10 of those chickens, they were great. They really were. They were, and it was great having them. Yeah, we ended up with more. That was because of one of the people living on the property. But I mean, they were okay. I didn't have issues until after we had a rooster there. So I don't know. Plus, after someone else took over buying the feed and they weren't buying the right stuff, it was kind of a problem. But down here, I know what I need to buy, and I will start out with buying some chicken feed so we have something, but I'm going to make sure it's a good one. And I have a good recommendation from our friend Andrew. Stuff that he gets for his chickens that is healthy and it's organic, and yeah. We'll just get some more ones. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, so I will start out with some chicken, like buying chicken feed, and start stocking up on that. One of the buildings that we're going to construct on the property, probably real close to first thing, is a small storage shed. So I can store, things like the chicken feed and maybe even goat feed at first. And some of the other animal feed, just so we have that extra to start with. Because it's going to take a minute before we have the freshly grown vegetables to feed all these animals. And it's going to take, we're going to have to put a lot of work into the property and the land itself to be able to, work that up and make sure it's ready for next spring. So we're going to be working like constantly over the fall and the winter and real early spring to be able to get it all ready, because I want to be able to plant our gardens up there. So from the time that we start getting up there, we're going to be working on a small storage shed, our cabin, our off-grid cabin, and what's on the inside? Yeah. Brain fart. Wow. My brain just went poof. Yeah, our off-grid cabin, our little storage shed, and our garden beds. I don't know where my brain was for a minute. Anyway, I mean, it's going to be a lot of work, and I know that. And, we're also going to have to be at the same time working on that fence around the living space on our property, so it'll be a lot of work. And then, of course, like starting to build our chicken coop, because we're going to be able to get chickens, but we also have to be able to stay on the property, so that's kind of going to be a thing that we'll work on that kind of while we're working on everything else. Okay, hey, let's use this for the chicken coop, or, maybe we can even get some pallets up there, several loads of pallets, and we'll just be like, we'll just start taking those, and, okay, let's work on the chicken coop for a little bit, So, anyway, sorry. I'm kind of getting off topic, but this is kind of things that's in the works for us, and as far as the storage shed, I was just discussing with our daughter, and I've seen some cute little videos on YouTube. I want to start getting some bags of cement and putting them in the little storage shed that we build, and just start taking, like little household items, and just making some cute little things out of household items with cement, and maybe painting them. I can always show her how to, paint, little designs and stuff on them. And we can sell those. And that's another homestead moneymaker. And I would probably let that be her part of the money, because I would let her make those things. So, anyway, just, more little things to add to our list. And I think we should do pretty well once we get established, and I'm still going to be working to get that homesteading community built up on the mountain, because I'm starting to get a few connections, especially with a couple that we met Sunday that live walking distance from our property, which is really cool, because now I feel like we have help. We have, we have somebody that we can help out, and it'll be a vice versa thing. They don't have a vehicle, we don't have a vehicle. But, maybe something will work out on kind of both ends, where we can, once we get one, we can help them out kind of thing, Which is that homesteading mindset. So, okay. YouTube videos are great, but there is a time for watching and a time for doing. It is incredibly difficult to hold your phone to watch a video with one hand and create something useful and beautiful with the other. And that's true. But there's always room for learning. You're always going to be learning something different. There's always something different to be learned, especially with homesteading, because you're working with living things, and even gardening. There's always something new to learn with gardening. So, okay, homesteading mentors. Connecting with a mentor not only offers the opportunity for skills growth, but also the chance to form a bond with other like-minded individuals, such as the couple that we met Sunday. Being invited into the club could give you a sense of belonging and support you have been yearning for but couldn't find among your neighbors or work peers. Yeah, and I've had that problem over the years. Like, things that I've wanted to do, and that I've talked about, I found a few like-minded people, but they only wanted to do a little part of it, and they didn't really understand wanting to go 100% into it. So, I'm tired of the prices on groceries. I'm tired of the bad food, the really, really unhealthy processed crap that's on the store shelves. And honestly, I really don't care who gets offended by what I'm saying. Most of the food on the store shelves is crap. It's processed, it's full of chemicals. The chemicals they put in it are banned in a lot of other countries. They're trying to make all of us sick. They're trying to keep it to where we have to stay on unhealthy synthetic drugs that all they're doing is making us sicker, landing us in the hospital, giving us heart problems, giving us diabetes, along with a whole long list of other health problems. And it's just not necessary. Do your research. The information is out there. Look up the Rockefellers and how they interfered with along with the government into our food and medicines and with the healthcare industry. More like with just the doctors at that point in time, because back then the doctors were actually using the healthy wild medicinal plants. But look it up. The information is there. It really is. The information is definitely there. My little tangent. But I have no love for the healthcare system. I don't agree with any of the prescription drugs. I won't take them. The only time I have is when I've had a really bad urinary tract infection. But even those antibiotics, they kill the good stuff in your body. And you literally have to go through and basically start all over. And the only way you can rebuild that is with your homemade stuff that replaces all of that bad stuff. Like homemade ferments, which even includes the good probiotic drinks made with the good apple cider vinegar. Things like the shrubs, the haymaker's punch from Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. Once you are actually a homesteader, the topics you are interested in talking about are going to change. The latest celebrity gossip news or fashion trends at the mall will not be something you can afford to waste time talking about, not even when your hens, especially not when your hens just laid their first eggs and your oregano seeds are sprouting. That would excite me because I have issues with herbs and I don't know why. Might be just the way I was trying to grow them, I don't know. I'll figure it out because I will get them. Of course, if you are driven to become an urban homesteader despite space and legal obstacles, then you probably aren't the kind of person who ever cared about clothing styles and what reality stars were doing. I've never cared about that. Well, some clothing styles I have. I've just cared more about being comfortable in my clothing, so. Still, your conversational interests will change. Having someone to share in the joy of each of your little homesteading victories can truly bolster you during times when you feel overwhelmed or discouraged. And I did find, I found when we were in Michigan that, I really felt alone because I didn't have anybody that was really like-minded on anything. And I mean, the only one that I had, that I talked to once in a while when we were still up there was Elaine, my oldest sister. And, she's always been into gardening because, she grew up the same way I did, obviously. And, she was one that was always out there with our grandparents in the garden and learning how to grow vegetables and different foods. And she's always preferred fresh garden produce to produce in the store. I mean, there's no comparison. Fresh garden vegetables. A tomato that you have grown yourself, there's no comparison between that and the tomatoes on the store shelf. They're tasteless. The tomatoes that you pick off from the vine, I have picked fresh tomatoes, especially the year when we had these tomato bushes with my little tomatoes, and I do believe that was on my garden tour in 2020. Those tomato plants were huge. But I got these great little, different little colored tomatoes, and they were so good. So good. I just pick them right off from there and just eat them. They were so good. They're so full of flavor and just, oh my goodness, there's nothing to compare. It's nothing. And the funny thing is, I grew those from some tomatoes that were left over out of what I had bought from Meijer. And the few that were left were starting to go bad, and I just cut them in half. They were kind of questionable. They weren't, bad. I just cut them in half, and I planted each half in a different little pot. And they turned out great. It was amazing. I was astounded. I got these huge tomato bushes. You can watch that video and see how big they were. They were huge. Those bushes were probably at least 3 feet tall. At least. They were just huge, and I got so many tomatoes off from them. So keep that in mind. You can actually take tomatoes that you buy from the store, and you can cut them in slices. And this idea actually comes from Doug and Stacy. So, Doug and Stacy, Off Grid with Doug and Stacy, you can take a tomato, even from the store, cut it in slices, and just put it in dirt. And put it in a cool, dry place, like a basement, a crawl space, root cellar, under a counter, something. Let it overwinter. Yeah, you know what? They're going to rot. They're going to mold, whatever, but it's going to be in that dirt. But when spring comes, you're going to have those seeds, and they're going to sprout, and they're going to grow. And it does work, because that's how I grew those tomatoes. So, finding a mentor probably won't be as difficult as you think. Browse the social media pages or websites of local groups, community classes, or clinics. Sign up for a workshop that will enhance your homesteading skills. You should find yourself among your people at such a class. Most, if not all, will welcome newbies and will be eager to pass on their knowledge. Don't be afraid to ask questions, because that's how you learn. Everyone was new to homesteading once, even folks born into it from out in the country where I live. Yeah, person talking, obviously. And I grew up in the country, so kind of fits me. It is the homesteading way to pitch in and always help fellow homesteaders without even being asked. And that's what we're looking at, especially with this couple that just moved out near where our property is at. And they're within walking distance, and heck yeah, we'll help them out. And that's going to be a whole thing where I'm going to talk to them. Maybe we can pool together and get, this homesteading community started. Like, I don't know what they can make. I don't know what their skills are. I don't know. But it's going to be fun to find out, like different things that they can make and that we can make. The homemade soaps that I can make. The produce that we can grow. In excess of that produce, and maybe extra eggs from chickens. Maybe we can pool together and come up with a little off-grid homesteading store for on the mountain. I mean, there's already a little store on the mountain, which I think is cool. It's a cool idea, but I mean, yeah. When I'm done, I'll pull it up on Facebook, because I actually found that page that has that store listed on it. And it's like really close to where our property's at. We might even be able to walk to it, which is cool. I'd love to go there. Anyway, but yeah, just that homesteading community spirit, and that's what I want to tap into on the mountain and on our property and with surrounding neighbors. And I already know a couple of people that live right there, so I don't think it's going to be as difficult as what I was thinking at first, so that's a good thing. Alright, don't be afraid to announce that you are new to the self-reliance life. It is most likely that you will be greeted with knowing smiles and some horrifically funny tales from your potential mentors about the early days of beekeeping, raising livestock, growing healing herbs, urban gardening, and the like. You might enter the room as a stranger with few to little skills, but odds are you will be leaving with the contact information of several new friends and maybe even some open invitations to come check out their homestead and offer to call on them at any time for help. You'd be wise to take them up on that. And that's what I want to be able to do with Sandy. Her name is Sandy Cosby, and her son, and I do believe his name is Tim. And I think her husband is also there. I do believe. I'm not quite sure. Don't remember. But yeah, just connecting with them is going to be a really good start to being able to get that homesteading community started up there. And then of course, there's Andrew, and he lives on a different part of the mountainous area over here. But I work close to him, and he's also very like-minded on being able to get something going to, make extra money, gear it towards homesteading. He's working to get his homestead built up, and I want to be able to help him out too, so. And that's where the partnerships come in at. Homestead partnerships. A partnership with other homesteaders in both your area and in rural areas can be highly beneficial. Connecting with other small space homesteaders could allow you to pool your efforts, knowledge, skills, and even tools. The fellow urban homesteader might live on the other side of town, but that is still close enough to share or barter what you are growing and raising. Such as, okay, well, say there's something that you don't really feel comfortable growing because you've always had a problem growing it. Maybe the other person has never had a problem growing it and always has excess of that. That's something that you can, and vice versa. So you can grow something for them that they've always had a problem with, and they can grow something with you that you've always had a problem with and trade off. So. Or maybe, maybe they don't have enough area to have chickens or something, and you're able to have a few and have extra eggs and can give them eggs in exchange for, that kind of thing. Such a partnership would also give you someone to share work details with on the homestead. In rural areas, it is not uncommon for someone to put out a call for a work detail and gladly wait for all the extra hands and free labor to show up. Something akin to an old-fashioned Amish barn raising occurs with plenty of food on the grill, ice-cold drinks, and more often than not, someone whipping out a guitar to entertain the group after a long day of hard work. In an urban or suburban environment, it is unlikely you will have a big construction project to work on by yourself, but inviting your homesteading partners over to help put up a chicken coop or harvest the garden will lessen the workload while bringing you closer to those who share your ambitions and goals. Ouch. And that setting they're talking about right there, connecting with rural homesteaders, that there might be even a situation where you can, like, maybe you'll meet a fellow homesteader that lives in a rural area that has extra property that would be willing to, let you come out and have like a little section to grow some extra stuff out there that you don't have room for in your urban setting, or help you out by housing animals for you, or that kind of thing. Maybe animals that you can't have where you're at. Cultivating a partnership with a rural homesteader who lives on more land and functions under far less government regulations is definitely advantageous for urban preppers who want to grow more crops and raise more animals than they have space to accommodate. And this is what I was talking about. The type of partnership should be reserved, until after you have gotten at least 1 year of homesteading under your belt. Kind of really don't know why they're saying that, because I think the newer you are, the more help you need. Splitting your time between caring for your own property and tending to an animal or another could be far too distracting to foster success. I get where they're coming from, but again, the newer you are, the more help you're going to need. And I personally believe that if you have that extra help when you're first starting out, you're going to be more successful. If you really want to raise and consume your own beef or pork, work out an agreement for what essentially amounts to boarding space for larger livestock. The partnership agreement could be for space and raising services, or only for space and daily care with your help on a predetermined schedule under the tutelage of a rural homesteader. That's what I mean. That's that extra help. That's that, hey, we'll house a dairy cow for you or something like that. Spending time at a larger and more established working homestead can help improve your skill set in preparation for the day when you expand your efforts beyond the space you are currently working. Okay, so that's the end of the actual article. Now, this is like the ending of it right here. By now, you should know exactly what I mean by changing your mindset. Stop thinking of a homesteader as someone who lives deep in the country with a big house, a red barn, lots of cattle, and an enormous garden. Now, it's kind of funny when I read that, because when I was growing up, we lived in the country. It wasn't deep in the country, because personally, I think the house in Michigan was always too close to the road. I never liked that. It's another reason why I wanted to get away from there and have property that was offset in the woods. Give us our own space. Make it to where I don't feel like we're being gawked at every 5 minutes when a car goes by. Make it to where I feel like I don't have to worry about being under scrutiny every time somebody looks sideways. Not that I really care what other people think, it's just I didn't like being right out in the open, no tree cover, the house not offset back from the road. I didn't like that. It wasn't me. And now that we have our property, and it is in the woods, we're in the mountains. I love it. It's so awesome. And I cannot wait to build up that homestead and show you guys how we're doing it from the very beginning. It's going to be so great, and I cannot wait to share it. It's going to be amazing, an amazing journey. What I was going to say is, yeah, I grew up in the country, and we had the big red barn, but my dad and my grandpa, we had sheep. And I always thought the sheep were cool, because when we picked stuff in the garden and like what we called the scraps from like the corn husks, or when we were shelling peas or anything like that, your extra, we didn't compost or anything at the time. We would just take it and give that stuff to the sheep. I always thought that was cool as a kid. But, we had the big red barn, and we had sheep, and we had a huge garden, which I miss. I miss that so much, which is why when I think of gardening, I'm like huge out there. I have this huge mindset for the garden because that's what I remember growing up, was that huge garden, and I loved it. I did not like the spiders. I do not like spiders. And down here, yes, that's kind of an issue, but I don't like spiders. I had an incident. I mean, I've never liked spiders, but I had an incident when I was a kid. I was probably 8 years old, and I was helping my mom pick the corn out of the garden. And I had my mom's canner, and I'm holding it, and I had it kind of out in front of me like this, and I had my hand over it like this, and all of a sudden I felt something touch my finger, and I looked down, and one of these garden spiders was on the edge of it, and it literally had touched, its little leg had touched my finger. I screamed and dropped the canner at the same time. My mom comes running over to try to find out what was wrong, because I scared the crap out of my mother. She comes running over, freaked out because of the fact that I'd screamed. And all I could do was like, Mom, there was a spider on the edge of the canner, and it touched me. So she grabs the canner, and she takes it over, and she dumps all the corn out on the ground and trying to find the spider, but apparently I probably scared the crap out of the spider. But it was just funny. Like I remember goofy stuff like that from when I was a kid. But it was fun. It was just, and it was a learning experience, and it was fun to be able to do stuff like that with my mom and just learn that stuff as a child. And that knowledge stuck with me. Okay, I've had to build on that knowledge a lot. Like, I've had to build on that knowledge. But it stuck with me. And that homesteading mindset of really wanting to be able to grow all of our own food, it's just stuck with me over the years. And it's because of the fact that I grew up with us having a huge garden. We had a pear tree on the property. I remember my mom going out and picking pears, getting mad because it was poison ivy out there, and she had to have my grandpa go out there and pull it out or whatever. We had our own strawberry patch. We used to go picking strawberries every spring. We froze so many strawberries. My mom used to make strawberry jam. We used to go out cherry picking. We froze a lot of cherries. Like, I have this stuff stuck in my mind. And it was enough to build that homesteading mindset. And it stuck with me over the years, and it's been great for me to use that to build on. Because the desire is there, and it's always been there for me to want to build up that homestead and to raise and grow our own food. I only wish I would have done it when my kids were little, because they would have turned out with a healthier mindset. So, but I can always just pray that God will steer them in the right direction on that one before it's too late. Anyway, if the day comes when you can get some land in the country, you will have a huge head start if you follow the advice given to you in these videos. But even if that never happens, you will still be a homesteader. Plus, you'll have saved a lot of money, improved your health, and developed a deep sense of satisfaction from using things that you made or grew yourself. And that's the whole homesteading mindset right there. Anyway, so that concludes our series on how to start a homestead no matter where you live. And it was 58 written pages. And it was taken from homesteadsurvivalsite.com. And they have a whole bunch of other information. This was just something I happened to, I don't even remember where I downloaded this. It was one of those click on things that I clicked on and brought up, and it was a free download. And anyway, sorry. Anyway, it was a free download, and I snagged it because I'm trying to get all that information that I can, But I am going to have our oldest son send my books down here. And then I'm going to choose, the ones that I think he would benefit from the most. It's either that or I'm going to have him get on video and go through the books one by one, and I'll just tell him which ones I want him to send down and tell him, just go ahead and put that box of those books up in the little room upstairs, which is a storage room in that house. But that way he'll have those extra books to where when it gets to that point and he has no choice, he'll have those books to turn to that will teach him how to build that property up into a working homestead. So he'll have what he needs. And that's probably what I'm going to do, is just have him on video and just go through and tell him which ones I want him to send down and let him keep the rest there on the property, in the house. So, and I'm going to send him some seeds. I haven't gotten around to going through my seeds yet. I've just had so many other things going on. But anyway, again, that concludes that series. And the next one I might start tomorrow, or it might be Monday. I do have to work tomorrow through Sunday. If I don't start the new series tomorrow, then I will definitely start it Monday. Sorry. I will definitely, if I don't start it tomorrow, I'll definitely start it Monday and, get into a whole new series. The new series is going to stem from my homesteading section on Pinterest. This is my homesteading section on Pinterest. There are 4,242 homesteading pins on my homesteading section, folder, whatever you want to call it, on Pinterest. And I have, like, I think 87 or something like that, different sections in it. And we're going to start going through each section. And yes, I'm going to be reading more information, but it's going to be as I'm writing them out. I did have another Homestead or Pinterest page, but I couldn't get into that same Pinterest page. I just created a new one. I had like I think I had over like 5,000 pins on that one, on homesteading. I just started looking up basically the same kind of stuff and created the same sections and a few different ones. There's probably more sections on this one than I had on that one, but when I get my homesteading binder, I will be able to, like, I have quite a bit written out in that, so. But I started writing out a little bit so I can at least start. But I'm going to have Aaron send down the homesteading binder with the soap supplies. So I'll get that pretty soon. And when I do, I'll do a video and I'll show my binder and show you guys what I did with it. And anyway, but again, that concludes that series, and my daughter's gonna have to do a bit of work on my videos because it's got to be edited a little bit, but that's okay. Anyway, I'll get the video uploaded today for sure. And I don't have to work today. I have to work tomorrow through Sunday. Beyond that, I have no idea. I'm hoping to be able to get a job working from home soon. So we have that extra money coming in, and the money's not such a problem. And then from there, be able to actually start building up that homesteading business to where we can start making money on our own and not have to worry about working under a dictatorship corporation that I'm pretty much working under right now. Granted, it's a better job than McDonald's. Excuse me, sorry. Granted, it's a better job than working for McDonald's, but I don't like the fact that my daughter.
I saw something funny. I'm sorry.
Anyway, Easy Mart has pretty much been taken over by corporate, and it sucks, and it's totally stupid, and I hate it. Like, I don't hate the job, I just don't like the fact that I feel like I'm working for a dictator, and it's stupid. The job itself is much better than McDonald's, and I wouldn't go back there for any amount of money in the world. But I'm gonna close this video out and get off from here and get this video edited. Well, let Chloe edit it and go from there. Get this video up on the channel. And if anybody has any more suggestions towards anything that has anything to do with building up a homestead community, business, whatever, put it in the comments. Let us know. Go through, watch the videos. If you guys have gotten any good information out of here, which it's there. It is there. Watch the videos. If you like the videos, like the videos. Share them. Share the videos. Subscribe to the channel. Recommend our channel. And just share them. Share the videos on all of your platforms. So, but I'm going to get off from here, and I might start the new series tomorrow. Maybe. We'll see how things go. If I'm feeling ambitious, I might even start it later today. I don't know. But that's it, and I will see you guys on the next video. You guys have a good day, and remember that homesteading mindset. Bye, guys.